Hi, and welcome to Doing Stuff with Lori. I'm Lori, and this week I've got a nice little week, got a nice little risotto for you. I visited the Presidio Fort Point's one of my favorite spots in the city, and I tell you a little bit of its history and a few more things, so stay tuned. So if you remember last time I was saying I'm very messy when I do things. Well, grouting the remaining part of my sink over there, I managed to do that. Isn't it lovely? Yeah, I don't think I'll be keeping this shirt anymore. Too bad, I really like it. Oh yeah, and I got stuff all over my arms. So I'm gonna go clean up and then I'm gonna make risotto. Specifically a zucchini risotto. So here we have 3 zucchini that need to be used. And I'm gonna use a half an onion. Start with a little hot oil in the pan and then throw in the onions and have a cup of arborio rice. Salt your onions so they sweat, releases a little moisture and get a little crispy edges on them, which I like. Once the onions become translucent, it means you start seeing through them a little bit. Then you're gonna add the rice. I need to get my wine ready. It's white wine this time, nice dry white wine. Here my onions are translucent. Toss in the rice to toast. Do that for about 3 minutes. I should have already had my wine bottle open, but I wasn't thinking ahead, so I had to add water first. Normally, I would start with a 3/4 of a cup of white wine, but I wasn't ready. So here you go. It works just as well. You don't get that nice flavor into the rice as much, but it'll still work. All right, well, better late than never. And now that we have all the liquid in there, most of the liquid in there, we just toss in all the zucchini or whatever other vegetable you're going to use. Today we're doing zucchini with lemon. A little wine for me. So arborio rice is a short grain Italian rice. It's one of a few that you can use for risotto. I like it because it's got a lot of starch around its core. So when you toast it and then you add the liquid afterwards, it lets it release all that starch. So it gets creamier and creamier as you cook it. So there's no need for any dairy products to be added at the end of it all. And you get a beautiful risotto. So it's really important the last few minutes of cooking, basically any risotto, is that you test it when there's still, as you see, about that much liquid in the pan or the pot. I decided I needed a little more lemon in it because I wanted a little tang. But now is also the time that you can tell if it's going to need a little more liquid or not. So if it's still really crunchy, add more liquid. But just a little at a time. And you want to get as much of the liquid out, just a tiny little bit remaining. It will continue to absorb. It is rice. But I like al dente, which to the tooth in Italian. So a little bit, with a little bit of stickiness to your tooth. Now I'm going to add the zest of a lemon. This is a small lemon, but it'll work. It's a small portion of risotto for me for 2 meals. This risotto is also fantastic when you add chicken or prawns. Now I'm going to take 2 pats of butter, and as I said, you don't have to use any dairy products. You can use a little olive oil at the end, finishing olive oil, nice little extra virgin olive oil. But here, I like it better with a little butter. It gets a nice gloss and it pulls everything together. So here you are. Nice and lemony. Not a very comfortable chair, but it's really cool. Go, more! Air is going.
Made in Germany.
Made in Germany. Grace and I are talking about this would be the perfect place to have a little party because they have created it for the view. As you can see, long table, benches, and another long table with benches. And what you're looking at is right there. And to think we're on top of a tunnel. You can hear the traffic coming from over there, but it's really quiet underneath us. I am loving all these native plants. I don't know if you can really see them, but they're starting to fill in, and the park's only 1.5 years old, so.
So now currently guys, but we'll have to update now. To replace the silverware barracks, so those 2 buildings there. That's all.
I've never been to the visitor center.
Silverware barracks.
Mariposa monarchs, all on the tree. All for prayers for people who have passed. You might recognize this place from 1958 Alfred Hitchcock thriller Vertigo, where Kim Novak's character jumps right off of this into the water. Well, this is Fort Point in San Francisco. Originally built by the Spanish to hold Alta California, Fort Point had a small adobe structure that could house up to 15 cannons. From 1796, I think it was built, until it was taken over by the Mexicans when they won their independence. And then this structure, not the Golden Gate Bridge, This structure was erected in 1853, started to be erected by 1853, and it was finished in 1861, right before the Civil War. So it's basically Civil War architecture for military fortifications that don't exist anymore in the East Coast in this form because they were damaged during war. After the Civil War in 1865, they decided that walls, these mason walls, wouldn't stand up to shelled artillery, so they pretty much decommissioned it as what it originally had been, and all the cannons that were on all these levels were sold for scrap. So Fort Point had been used since the 1870s as mostly barracks. After the 1906 earthquake in San Francisco, it housed refugees of the fires and destruction. And these cannons that I'm walking to now basically were different size. There were even a larger one than this, but each different size were on the top three levels, the roof and the third and the second floor. The second floor cannon would be shot out like skipping rocks on the top of the water to hit the sides of the ships coming in. The top floor, the roof, had the biggest cannons, and we'll see that here on this display, but we'll see that in just a little bit when we hit the roof. On the second floor, they've set up a nice little display of what the officers' quarters and mess area would look like. Interspersed, they also have exhibits such as this one for the legacy of the Buffalo Soldiers, who there are some of the 10th Cavalry, which were made up of African American soldiers that are actually buried at the National Cemetery in the Presidio. So how did the Buffalo Soldiers get their name? Supposedly it was from the Plains Indians of various tribes are attributed with it. They must have a similar name for buffalo, but it was because their black curly hair was tight black curly hair was like the buffalo, so they nicknamed them the Buffalo Soldiers. Here is the officers' quarters, supposedly. I'm sure they had a wall in between, but now we make it up to the third floor, which I'm not sure what they used in these areas, but they're beautiful masonry. The star-vaulted ceilings and all the brickwork. It's really pretty. And the real reason I come up here, honestly, is because I like looking out the windows, even if it's windy and cold, because it's very windy and very cold at this point. But you get this beautiful view from underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, and they're open Thursday through Mondays, and so I just pop by every once in a while just to take a peek, watch the crazy windsurfers under the bridge. What a beautiful scenery to do this in, though. I don't blame them. They've already got wetsuits on. They're probably not that cold. I was talking about those barracks. So these are the privates' quarters, the barracks for the privates. So the lowly ones got to sleep 12 to a cabin, bunk beds. This picture of the under the water of the bay always trips me out. How deep it is in that trench, and they dived in these suits to build the Golden Gate Bridge. Here we are, finally on the roof, right under the bridge. And each one of these posts had a very large cannon on it. So if you can imagine that pointing, there wasn't a bridge at that point, obviously. That came along in 1937. Little lighthouse. What a feat of engineering. They straddled the building to keep it for historical preservation. I just admire that. So good job, engineer of the Golden Gate Bridge. I can imagine troops running down and up these stairs. I would get very, very dizzy, but I'm moving a lot slower than they would have been. This was a nice jolt.
Drive up these streets, but then from here you're like, oh yeah, it's going up there.
Yeah, right? Yeah, how much is going up? Say hello, Nancy.
Hi.
This was a fantastic exhibition. I highly recommend it if you're going to be anywhere near the De Young Museum in the middle of Golden Gate Park until December 6th, I want to say. Maybe it's the end of the year. I highly recommend this. Bay Area artists featured all styles, all mediums, sculpture, everything. Very beautiful. Bonus to me, I didn't get anything on my shirt. Yay! Because I didn't want to have to wash it again. Okay, I have to figure out a name for this guy. I'm gonna light him up later. Happy Halloween, y'all! Oh, so many people. Let's do it. We're getting mobbed by children. My laziest costume ever. This is Fozzie. That's what my nephew Aiden says I need to call him, so this is Fozzie. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to another episode next week. And if you like this episode, please let me know. Hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. It does help me out to get more subscribers. And I will leave you with this beautiful view on the corner that I can see the ocean all the way around to downtown. It's absolutely stunning. So until next time, ciao.